All right, welcome to Patrick in the studio, and this is another drawing lesson that I want to do. And today's drawing lesson is drawing an object or drawing things. Anytime you draw stuff, everything is made out of something. It could be glass, metal, plastic, paper. So this is one of two lessons I want to do on drawing an object that's made out of a specific kind of material. So here we have a glass bottle, right? How do you draw something that's transparent? All right, and for the purpose today, the medium I'm going to draw with is an ebony pencil. Okay, it's a soft graphite pencil. If you have a number 2 pencil hanging around, you could use one of those. My first drawing lessons have been in vine charcoal, but I thought this would be good to do with something different. So what I'm going to do is do a contour line drawing of the bottle. So what I'll do first is I'm going to measure the width of the bottle. I'm going to put the tip of my pencil against the right side of the bottle, move my thumb up against the left. I'm measuring its widest part, which is anywhere through the body. Then I'm going to take that measurement and measure the height. So I've got one eye closed when I'm doing all this. So if it's that wide, it's 1, 2, 3 times higher than it is wider, okay, by my measurement. So I'll draw a line here, right? That's the width of my bottle. Somewhat arbitrary. I could have made it longer or shorter. And then I'm going to take that line and multiply it by 3. 1, 2, 3. And there we have now a rectangle that's based on my measuring or that determined that that bottle is 3 times higher than it is wider. So that bottle is going to fit into this rectangle. And that's a very simple way of kind of doing things, is starting with a simple shape, nothing too complicated. All right. So there we go, a simple shape. Then I want to put the bottle in there. That bottle has 2 other elements. It has the body of the bottle. I'll measure that again. And I'm going to measure the neck of the bottle. And the neck of the bottle is slightly shorter than the width of the bottle. So if this is my top square here, again, the neck of the bottle will come in approximately here. So the shoulder of the bottle will be here. Okay, and then the neck will be running in through here. Now I can actually measure the shape of the shoulder by holding my pencil against it, right? So I can measure its shape, and then I'm going to put that in here. And it looks to me, as I measure, it looks like a half a circle. So I'm going to draw a half a circle here, bring it down. The bottom of the bottle is round because I'm looking down at a curved surface. So I'll put a little round here. I can even draw the ellipse. I can even measure that ellipse. If I measure the width of my bottle again, I can use that to measure the width. So if my bottle is that wide, the bottom of the bottle is about 1/3 of the width of the bottle. So if you want to say that's approximately 1/3, and then the bottom of the bottle is about 1/3 of that. So there's the ellipse at the bottom based on my measuring. Now my measuring is very general, and it's not being real accurate, but it's being accurate enough, and I can always edit this. Remember, a good artist is a good editor. And this is ebony pencil, easy to erase. Do some erasing here. The neck of the bottle is tapered. Taper it up. And of course, it's running through the middle here. I can even measure the width of the base of the neck, measure the overall width of the bottle against the width of the bottle, and I can see that is about, well, let's see. I would say that's about almost a little less than a half. So, I'm not going to get into too much measuring. If I really want to do more accurate job, I could put a little grid in front of that, but I think we're just going to do this a little bit more as a freehand drawing, not too much fanfare, but, accuracy. I do think accuracy is important, but I think more important than accuracy for me is believability. I think you can draw something. It doesn't necessarily have to be accurate as long as it's believable, all right? So there we go. We're coming up now with a contour line drawing of the bottle based on this sort of simple technique of measuring. Because I'm looking at it from the side here, what I'm noticing is I placed the neck of the bottle a little bit too far to the left. So again, I'm going to correct that. Okay, so that's the thing. You want to be a good artist, remember, is a good editor. It's not necessarily always drawing everything perfect. I don't draw anything perfect, you'll notice. But I do draw, and I like to draw, and the more you draw, the better you get at it. So there's your bottom line. All right, now what I want to do to create the effect of glass is I want to go from what I call the general to the specific, which means I look up there, top half of the bottle is darker because I have a darker background, and the bottom half is a little bit lighter because there's a lighter background in the form of this, or foreground on this cloth here. So what I'm going to do then is start to shade this. I'll draw my edge of my stand here in there, runs through here, and this will be lighter and this will be darker. So all I can do now is just come in and do this. Just going to make it darker. Again, I'm putting the most general information in there. Remember, going from the general to the specific. The other thing that glass does when you're looking through it, it does distort things. It does bend light rays. So that means the edge of the tables I'm looking through it is not a straight line like this. It was actually slightly curved like that. All right, so there we go. Now I'm ignoring my highlights for the moment. I'm going to put them in with my eraser a little bit later. So I'm just putting in the most general information again, which is the background being darker and the foreground being lighter. All right, just ebony pencil, just layering and layering and layering, like so. Now as I look through the bottle, I notice that what I see through the bottle is slightly lighter than what I see around the bottle. Remember, context is essential here. What's the context? The context is my background. So the context for me is a darker value, so I'm going to make that darker, distinguishing what I see through the bottle versus what I see around the bottle. But what I see through the bottle, of course, is the background, is the context, but because the surface of the glass does reflect some light, it's lighter than the background, as you can see. See how that's looking? Okay. So I'm going to keep doing that. And again, I'm going from the general to the specific, and I'll do that again with another object in another lesson. I'm going to do a paper bag later on. The idea being, you don't need to put a bunch of detail or creep across a drawing in tiny little increments. At least that's not my approach. I know it's maybe the approach of other people, but I like the idea of, yeah, most general information. Whoops, and if I make a mistake, cut off part of the shoulder there, take my kneaded eraser and do some erasing there. All right, there we go. And little corrections, little editing things can actually make drawings more interesting. Drawings don't have to look perfect or pristine or just so precise. That isn't, to me, the hallmark of a good drawing or painting. Not about how accurate it is. That's just about accuracy. A lot of people think, oh, that looks like the photograph. It just so doesn't interest me. To me, I look at Jim Dine as an artist who really expresses his feeling and thoughts and emotions and about objects that he paints. They're wonderful drawings, and they're not about being precise. Right? Obviously, this drawing isn't. The opening's a little darker in there. As I look at it now from this angle, I see that this shoulder is a little bit. They come up a little bit higher compared to the shoulder on the other side. Right? So there we go. I'll bring this one down a little bit lower. All right, here we go. All right, so that's the beginning. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a time lapse on this. You'll see me develop it, all right, because it'll take me a few minutes to develop this, okay? But that's how I get started. And then you can see my next video for how this result, what the result is.